Everyone, please give thanks to Masad Ayub for the term emergency rescue life-saving equipment. Let's talk about this. Firefighters are constantly maintaining their equipment and are meticulous with this work. Why? Because they have emergency rescue life-saving equipment. Memorize that term, emergency rescue life-saving equipment. Firefighters have to be 104% sure every hose, every pump, every piece of equipment they have is going to work correctly and on the first try. If it doesn't, people might die. The same goes for your firearm, your tactical flashlight, your baton, your knife, pepper spray, IFAK, whatever you have in your EDC that you might have to deploy to save lives, yours and possibly someone else's. Know how to use each piece of equipment and how to maintain it so it remains reliable. The purpose of this video is to talk about the cleaning and proper maintenance of your firearm. There is an old phrase, literally as old as firearms themselves: never let the sun set on a dirty gun. You should take this to heart if you don't already. Now, in the history of firearms, black powder does not burn cleanly like today's smokeless powder or Pyrodex. This charcoal, sulfur, saltpeter black powder leaves a bunch of unburnt residue that fouls or partially obstructs a barrel, impacting accuracy, and it seems to set as hard as concrete if you wait too long to clean it. When our forefathers upgraded to from flintlocks to percussion caps in the 1820s, they used fulminated mercury as the shock-sensitive chemical in those caps to create the spark that fires the weapon. The problem was mercury is extremely corrosive to the iron used in the gun barrels. Leaving the firearm uncleaned overnight gave time for that chemical process to destroy the lining and rifling of the barrel, ruining any accuracy. Since that time, there have been great technological leaps forward in the chemistry for the primers and smokeless powder, the metallurgy for the components, and the precision of the machines that make everything to way higher tolerances, which has overall softened that phrase somewhat. However, firearms are still machines. These machines require periodic inspection, cleaning, lubrication, and parts replacement to keep them working reliably. Battle rifles, such as ARs and AKs, are designed to operate in adverse conditions. I mean combat in jungles, deserts, Arctic conditions, and so on. Mud, sand, below zero temperatures, and going several thousand rounds between cleanings because their soldiers are in combat and they don't get the necessary downtime to perform that maintenance. So, today firearms are a lot more robust than they were.
I need something robust, precise.
Robust, precise.
This means they can go for several trips to the range and not be correctly maintained. However, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Before. Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Remember, we have to be 104% sure our weapons will work correctly and reliably in a moment of crisis. Because if they don't, these magical long distance, deliverers of righteous justice suddenly become very expensive rocks or clubs. The purpose of cleaning is to eliminate the carbon and dirt buildup in a weapon that gets there from actually using it. Plus, lubricating it to ensure parts will move when and how they are designed to. Once you have a clean weapon, how you lubricate it will determine how easy it will be to get the buildup off during the next cleaning. Also, having a well-lubricated weapon reduces friction and wear on the weapon, which prolongs the life of the parts. That lubrication also acts as a moisture barrier and corrosion inhibitor. So, proper lubrication does three things: make sure the weapon has minimal wear on the moving parts, provides a barrier against moisture and rust, and lastly, helps make the next cleaning session easier. Before I get into cleaning, let's go over some common sense personal safety. No matter how eco-friendly a cleaning product claims they are, these chemicals we use to clean and oil are not friendly to our skin or us in general. Clean your weapons in a well-ventilated area. Don't do it where a spill might ruin something expensive like the dining room table. Glove up at a minimum. Masking up is at your discretion. The better the ventilation, the less need for a respirator. A surgical or N95 mask will not be effective for this. You need an actual respirator that seals to your face and can handle VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. Your lungs and mucous membranes will thank you. A weapon, like men's clothes, has different levels of clean.
I have more than 2 grades of laundry, okay? There's not just clean and dirty. There are many subtle levels, okay?
We have dirty, mostly clean, clean, and inspection-ready clean. Mostly clean is okay as long as the weapon is kept lubricated until you can perform a standard field strip clean before using it again. A post-range session, quick wipe down to remove dirt and residue, then lubricating of certain parts is a mostly clean. Clean it better later, please. Clean is the standard you should always maintain for your weapons. If your weapons are inspection ready, this means you have too much time on your hands and you need to get a life outside of your gun room. There are 2 general types of cleaning. We have your usual field strip after a range trip, which is removing some parts. In the case of a semi-automatic handgun, you separate the slide, barrel, recoil, spring, and the frame. All you need to do this are gloves, solvent, and lubrication, and that can be a variety of types. A bore brush or bore snake, a stiff, non-metallic bristle brush, and some Q-tips of various sizes, plus blue paper towels. I really hate interrupting myself mid-tirade, but I just wanted to put in a real quick reminder to please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with all of your friends. That's how I grow this channel and get to more people. So, all right, back to myself. You never want to use a metal brush on your firearm, even a soft bronze brush. Running that brush over the wrong area will end up leaving permanent scratches on your weapon. The blue shop towels are way better than regular paper towels because they hold up better and give off less lint. If you have never cleaned your weapon or tried figuring it out on your own, asking your friends, or with just YouTube videos, I highly suggest you find and take a class or get some private instruction on that subject. Being clean, checked, and properly lubricated is critical to your weapon's operation in a moment of crisis. Learn how to do it properly and correctly. The second kind of cleaning is a deep clean. The deep cleaning cycle is dependent on how much and how often you shoot. If you're shooting 1,000 rounds a month, a quarterly deep clean at a minimum is clearly indicated. If you don't shoot that often, doing a deep clean once or twice a year is acceptable. The cycle is up to you. If you're not mechanically inclined, I again suggest you take a class specific to deep cleaning of your weapons so you can do it yourself. A great benefit of being able to do this is because if something breaks, you are intimately familiar enough with your firearm to be able to diagnose the problem and probably replace the part or parts without the expensive need for a gunsmith. Or you can pay an armorer or gunsmith to perform this maintenance for you. Most ranges have an armorer whose sole job is to clean the loaner weapons. Prices for such services can run $50 for a field strip cleaning to $100 for a deep clean. With a deep clean, you will be removing pins to access every mechanism, such as the trigger assembly. All of the above implements for a regular cleaning are required, plus a punch set, a punch block. I have here a general block and one designed for an AR BCG. A more intense solvent, such as mineral spirits, a dedicated mason jar or other non-reactive container to hold it, and a strainer so you can get the parts out without losing them. Like I said, with a deep clean, you remove modules that you don't normally touch during the regular cleaning. Disassembling the bolt on an AR-15, the part that holds the extractor and ejector parts, is a good example. Your intent is to get every last bit of the dirt and carbon buildup that has accumulated on every part to a reasonable and practical extent. I actually found a couple of great videos. One is on cleaning an AR-15 BCG and then a Glock Deep clean. They're in the notes below. And hey, while you're pulling your weapons apart to do a deep clean, don't forget to do the same with your magazines. Clean the follower, which is that piece on top of the spring, and check the spring itself. Springs do not go bad by being left full or empty. They go bad and lose their power by being used. After all, if the spring and or follower don't work because you haven't inspected, cleaned, and lubricated them for years, we're back to that expensive rocker stick situation, right? Once you've done that, you re-lubricate and reassemble the firearms. Now, I follow the philosophy of grease the parts that slide, oil the parts that rotate. It's a personal preference. You do what you think is best for you. I'm here to show you the general direction. The how and why behind grease versus oil can be a point of conversation with your gunsmith while they teach you how to deep clean. As always, consult people more knowledgeable than you or I, such as your armorer and or gunsmith, on such matters. If you didn't know, the solvents and lubricates and other chemicals we use during these processes can, under certain circumstances, combust into flames on their own. This is known as spontaneous combustion. This generally happens with rags or paper towels that have both oil and solvent on them. It can take hours for the chemical process to result in an actual flame, which means you'll probably either be asleep or not at home when the fire starts. Please heed my advice so you don't burn your house down. When dealing with chemicals like this, please follow the appropriate fire safety protocols. The first choice should be to use a special combustible materials trash can to hold the used materials until proper disposal can be arranged. Second option, just go ahead and immediately and properly dispose of your hazardous waste at the end of your cleaning session. Yes, I know those cans start at $100, but do you really want to cheap out and possibly lose your home? In conclusion, make sure your emergency rescue life-saving equipment is clean and properly maintained so you have zero doubt it will function as it's supposed to every time. Keep it clean, just not too clean. Check and lubricate it after you use it, then do a field strip clean when you get home. Periodically, take it all the way apart and give it a deep clean to make sure you get all the dirt and buildup you missed in the regular cleanings. Don't forget to perform maintenance on your magazines. Use these deep cleans to learn the intricacies of your weapons so you know how to perform a basic swap of parts if something breaks. And please, don't burn your house down or poison yourself in the process. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. Just one last request that you like and subscribe and share with your friends and send me some feedback on the way so I know where to go and what I might have messed up. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.